When there's no one there to hear you, you have to learn to listen to yourself. You have to find your own music. Have you ever found yourself lost in a crowded place, surrounded by people yet feeling utterly alone? Have you ever felt the weight of silence? Not the kind that's awkward and uncomfortable, but the kind that's deep and still? If you have, then you've probably experienced solitude. Today, I want to talk about the difference between loneliness and solitude, because while many of us crave connection, sometimes being alone can be the most profound way to feel connected, not just to others, but to ourselves, to our inner wisdom, to the very essence of what it means to be human. I'm here. Welcome to this channel. Our first story is about a young woman named Maya. Maya was always outgoing and social, always surrounded by friends and family. She thrived on the energy of others, but lately, she'd been feeling a growing sense of loneliness, a feeling that something was missing, despite having a busy social life. One day, her grandmother, noticing Maya's quiet sadness, invited her on a weekend retreat to a cabin in the woods. At first, Maya resisted. She wasn't sure if she could handle a whole weekend alone with her thoughts. But she went, and something amazing happened. Over the course of the weekend, Maya found herself opening up like never before. She talked to her grandmother about her fears, her dreams, her confusion, and for the first time in a long time, she felt truly seen, heard, and understood. As she sat by the fireplace that night, sipping hot chocolate, she realized that her loneliness had come from trying to find herself in the noise of other people's opinions and expectations. But in the quiet of the woods, she found herself. Stories like these aren't rare. They're a testament to the healing power of solitude, the ability to connect with ourselves when we're alone. Which brings me to our second story. There was a young man named Ethan who struggled with shyness and insecurity. He often felt like an outsider, even among his closest friends. He dreamed of becoming a writer, but his fear of rejection held him back. One day, Ethan decided to take a solo backpacking trip through Europe. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision that both terrified and excited him. As he traveled from city to city, exploring ancient ruins and meeting new people, he felt a growing sense of confidence. He learned to navigate new cities on his own, strike up conversations with strangers, and most importantly, he started writing again. In his journal, he wrote about his experiences, his fears, his excitement, and in doing so, he found his voice. By the end of his trip, he wasn't the same person who had left. He was more confident, more independent, and most importantly, he was more connected to himself. What Ethan and Maya discovered, many great thinkers, writers, and prophets have known for centuries. Solitude, or being alone, is not the same as loneliness or feeling disconnected. In fact, true solitude can be one of the most powerful ways to feel connected, not just to ourselves, but to something greater than ourselves. Imagine a towering redwood tree standing tall and proud amidst a dense redwood forest. The tree doesn't need the other trees to be strong or beautiful. It draws its strength and beauty from within. Similarly, we can find strength and wisdom in our solitude, a strength that doesn't rely on external validation or connection. The question is, how do we tap into this strength? How do we embrace our solitude without becoming lonely? It starts with a shift in perspective. When we think of solitude as a time for connection, not disconnection, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We can use this time to connect with ourselves, with our inner wisdom, with the creative energy that flows through all of us. Think of nature for a moment. When a seed is planted in the ground, it doesn't need anyone to tell it to grow. It simply grows towards the light. Similarly, when we're in solitude, we can allow ourselves to simply be, to unfold and grow towards our potential. So how do we do that? How do we make this shift from loneliness to solitude, from disconnection to connection? It starts with a willingness to be vulnerable, to open ourselves up to the possibility of feeling deeply. It means facing our fears and shadows, those parts of ourselves that we've been hiding from. and embracing them as part of who we are. It also means being present, really present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. It's easy to escape into our phones or laptops when we're alone, but true solitude requires us to turn off the noise and tune into the quietest parts of ourselves. When we do this, we start to feel a sense of calm and clarity. We become more attuned to our intuition, our gut feelings, our creativity. We remember things that we've long forgotten. Ideas and insights come to us out of nowhere, and we feel a renewed sense of purpose and direction. This is what makes solitude so powerful. The ability to reconnect with ourselves, with our inner wisdom, and with the creative energy that flows through all of us. In the stillness, we discover our strength, our resilience, our creativity, and our ability to heal ourselves and others. But the benefits of solitude don't stop there. When we embrace our solitude, we also embrace our uniqueness, our individuality. We celebrate the fact that we are different, that we see the world in our own unique way. We recognize that our quirks and imperfections are what make us beautiful, and that our differences are what make us strong. Think of a cup of tea. It's not the same whether you're drinking it in a plain white mug or a favorite colorful one. The cup may change how the tea tastes, but it doesn't change the quality of the tea itself. Similarly, our differences don't diminish our value. They enhance it. They make us more interesting, more compassionate, and more capable of understanding and connecting with others. It's easy to feel like we need to be constantly connected, always reachable, always available. But this constant connectivity can leave us feeling depleted, distracted, and disconnected from ourselves. When we take time to disconnect, to be fully present in our solitude, we return to the world feeling refreshed, focused, and ready to connect with others in a deeper way. We are like trees that need sunlight to grow and thrive. Being alone gives us the space we need to soak up the sun and nourish our souls. So how can we practice healthy solitude in a world that values busyness and productivity? How can we make space for silence in a world that values noise? It starts with small steps, taking a daily walk, practicing silent meditation or journaling first thing in the morning. These are just a few examples of how we can incorporate solitude into our daily lives. It's important to find what works for you, what helps you to connect with yourself and your inner wisdom. When we do, we'll start to experience the benefits of solitude, increased clarity, creativity, emotional well-being, and a deeper sense of connection to ourselves and the world around us. We live in a world where being alone can often be seen as a weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. But what if we flipped that narrative? What if we saw solitude not as a weakness, but as a source of strength, wisdom, and creativity? When we stop fighting our solitude and start embracing it, when we stop fearing silence and start listening to it, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of connecting with ourselves and others in a deeper way. We become like the oak tree that stands alone on the hill, strong and resilient, yet graceful and beautiful in its solitude. Just like the oak tree, we can find strength in our solitude, wisdom in our silence, and beauty in our uniqueness. When we embrace our solitude, we affirm to ourselves that we are enough, even in silence. Thank you. And remember, you are enough, even in silence.